Ahead of the Independence Day celebrations, the Delhi police has stepped in to halt every protest that is being held by ex-servicemen demanding the implementation of the one rank, one pension scheme. Early morning, in fact, we saw some dramatic visuals coming in there from Jantar Mantar by this protest march that has been called by ex-servicemen. The Delhi police, in fact, broke into those protests at Jantar Mantar, and they even evacuated the others who had gathered at the spot. And this action is part of the NDMC security drive ahead of the Independence Day. Remember, in the wake of the recent spurt in terror activities, the NIA and other security agencies have already issued a high alert in the national capital. Massive security arrangements have been made across the country, and we are seeing several politicians, of course, Bhupinder Singh Hooda there, who has also joined in the protest march. Our correspondent Simi Pasha there was getting us a detailed account of what exactly happened between the protesting ex-servicemen and the police personnel. We also saw a huge presence of security personnel just around Jantar Mantar, where the ex-servicemen are staging this protest. Ex-servicemen, in fact, have been urging the government to implement the one rank, one pension scheme, and it was expected, in fact, that tomorrow the Prime Minister would have made a statement during his speech, but a news coming in, the meeting between the PMO officials and the retired armed forces personnel really failed to evolve any consensus on the one rank, one pension, and in protest of that we saw ex-servicemen who were protesting in the national capital. Well, the NDMC officials did come and they did take down a lot of the banners that had been put up by the ex-servicemen as a result of that multi-layer security that has been put in place in the national capital. Of course, security forces are also keeping a hawk-eye vigil against any possible terror strike just before the Independence Day celebrations. And now there was also some talk about the ex-servicemen being requested to move to another place to continue with their protest. We still don't have confirmation on that. Meanwhile, Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has expressed support and solidarity towards the protesting ex-servicemen. He also tweeted earlier on, where he took a jibe at the government and even supported the ex-servicemen and called it an ironic act of removing ex-servicemen from the area of protest. Our correspondents, in fact, have been tracking all the developments there since morning, and they have been getting us up to speed on what all has been happening. This is what Anindo Banerjee had to send earlier on when he was there at that protest march.
A day before the Independence Day celebration, the OROP demand and its protests have got steam. Here we are in Gurgaon. Remember, it's raining cats and dogs. In spite of that, people, the war veterans have come all the way to here in a protest site organized by the Congress and which will be spearheaded by Bhupinder Singh Hooda. I'm joined by Major T.C. Rao, sir. You are adorned, you are proudly showing your medals, your whatever you achieved throughout your career. But you think that somehow the government has been insensitive as well?
No, they're not been insensitive. They've been more than 100 days. That's what we were promised. 365 days even. They've completed more than 1.5 years. But so far, they've not been able to do anything concrete. They have not sent any delegation from their side to talk to the ex-servicemen organization. They are just waiting. They are taking lightly.
We have other veterans as well, sir. Do you think that probably, as we speak earlier this morning, Jantar Mantar, there has been a confrontation between people sitting over there as well as police. आपको लगता है कहीं ना कहीं ये एक government insensitive बनते जा रहे हैं?
I would like to say that this government is very, very insensitive to the demands of ex-servicemen for this OROP. Their apathy has led us to come on roads, and we are sitting for last more than 60 days, and we are doing a relay fast. And this government is totally insensitive. It shows their intentions. They do not want to implement it.
कहीं ये एलिगेशन शायद लग जाए क्योंकि ये कांग्रेस ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, तो आपको लगता है ये प्रोबेबली
नहीं, पॉलिटिशियन ने तो बहुत पहले ही जो है हमें सपोर्ट करना चाहिए था इस काज के लिए। और हम जो है अभी जो वोट है हमारी एक्स-सर्विसमैन की, अभी तक हमने इस बारे में सोचा नहीं था। अभी कंसोलिडेशन वोट होगी और जो हमें सपोर्ट करेगा हम उसको वोट करेंगे।
So there you have it, a very, the whole demand of OROP taking not only stream but also taking a political turn. Today early in the morning there has been a confrontation between the protesters in Jantar Mantar and as well as the police. But here they say that next time onwards there will be a consolidated vote and whoever will support OROP, with the entire fraternity will vote for them. In Gurgaon, with Pratap, Anindo Banerjee for India Today.
Well, let's go straight now to our correspondent Simi Pasha, who has been tracking all the developments there from Jantar Mantar. Simi, we did hear ex-servicemen protesting against the forceful eviction by the officials. What is happening on the ground now?
Avantika, the protest is still going on. Defence veterans are refusing to move away. In the morning, what we saw was a huge contingent of the Delhi police and paramilitary forces who came here along with a team of the NDMC. This is part of their sanitization drive ahead of Independence Day, where they remove all protesters from Jantar Mantar. Now, these veterans are saying that they should have been notified. The government could have behaved in a more respectful manner instead of treating them like ordinary protesters. So, basically, the demand is that you should have been notified and then you would have moved away.
Exactly. We, our senior people had gone and met Mr. Vijay Goyal yesterday, and he offered us something which was not acceptable to us. And nowhere we were told to vacate this place. So this morning, all of a sudden, we saw police coming here, forcibly trying to evict us, and that was not fair on their part. So we stick to our ground that our one rank, one pay. We stand for the 2014 resolution, which was passed by Parliament. We don't want to dilute it anywhere. Our very ground is that a Jawan who gets something today after retirement should get the same thing when the one retired previously.
Do you think that, do you feel that the government has turned a blind eye to this protest? The promises have been frequent promises, but there's been no proper commitment from the government, no deadline that's been given to protesters.
I'll tell you very clear. First of all, I'm an army officer's son, and India is not like America. We don't have a Veteran Affairs Ministry. There, the Veteran Affairs Secretary is an armed forces personnel. Here, I'm not criticizing the minister, but he is not capable of understanding the veterans' problems. So we are looking at somebody who is a professional. One, then only they will understand. Second is, Mr. Prime Minister Modi has no knowledge much knowledge about veterans, because he served in Gujarat.
About the army.
About the army also. So I'm not criticizing him. We want to give him the knowledge very nicely and tell him this is the army. Today if there's a war with Pakistan
we are surprised why the defence minister is not coming up. He is not appearing in the armed forces. He is leading the armed forces, but he is behind the Tarpal.
Unfortunately. All right, Avantika, there you see there's a lot of anger here on the ground. Veterans here saying that they could have been notified. The government officials could have treated them with a little more respect. Another development that I'd like to point out here is that the NDMC has come out with a notification saying that no overnight protests will be allowed at Jantar Mantar, and structures like this one that has been put up at Jantar Mantar will not be allowed. The protesters will not be allowed to stay overnight in central Delhi. This, of course, is being brought after there was a massive protest by farmers as well. We saw what happened with Yogendra Yadav, where Yogendra Yadav and farmers from Rajasthan, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh were forcefully taken away when they were reportedly trying to move from Jantar Mantar towards 7 RCR last week. The NDMC now saying they will not allow structures like these to come up at Jantar Mantar. As of now, most of the structures here have been removed. The only one remaining here is that's been put up by veterans here, demanding a commitment from the government on OROP.
All right. Simi, thanks so much for joining us and getting us the very latest from that protest march that has been going on. It is a protest march that has been called by ex-servicemen. So a lot of pressure they're mounting on the government from various quarters to break their silence on several issues.